Brief announcement, please. In just a moment, UN DESA SMU International Seminar will begin. I'd like to ask all participants to enter the venue and please be seated. For a seamless event, please remember to turn your mobile phones off or into silent mode. And please be noted, today's seminar will be carried out in English. We provide simultaneous interpretation. It's channel 1 for Korean and 2 for English. 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 잠시 후 오후 2시부터 유엔대사 새마을 국제 세미나가 시작되겠습니다. 참석자 여러분들께서는 행사장 내로 입장하셔서 자리에 착석해 주시기 바랍니다. 원활한 행사 진행을 위해 휴대하고 계신 휴대전화는 전원을 꺼주시거나 무음으로 바꿔주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 오늘 본 세미나는 영어로 진행이 됩니다. 동시 통역을 저희가 제공을 하는데요. 한국어는 채널 1번, 영어는 채널 2번입니다. 고맙습니다. Brief announcement, please. In just a moment, UN DESA SMU International Seminar will begin. I'd like to ask all participants to enter the venue and please be seated. For a seamless event, I'd like to ask all participants to turn your mobile phones off or into silent mode. And please be noted, today's seminar will be carried out in English. We provide simultaneous interpretation. It's channel 1 for Korean and 2 for English. 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 곧이어 유엔대사 새마을 국제 세미나가 시작되겠습니다. 참석자 여러분들께서는 장내로 입장하셔서 자리에 착석해 주시길 바랍니다. 원활한 행사 진행을 위해 소지하고 계신 휴대전화는 전원을 꺼주시거나 무음으로 바꿔주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 자, 본 행사는 저희가 영어로 진행을 합니다. 동시통역 서비스를 제공하고 있으니 수신기를 사용해 주시고요. 한국어는 채널 1번, 영어는 채널 2번입니다. 고맙습니다. 뒤에서 그냥 사인 주세요. 네. Brief announcement, please. Please be noted, today's seminar will be carried out in English. We provide simultaneous interpretation. It's channel 1 for Korean and 2 for English. 오늘 본 행사는 영어로 진행이 됩니다. 따라서 동시 통역을 제공하고 있는데요. 수신기를 사용해 주시길 부탁드리겠고요. 채널 1번이 한국어, 채널 2번이 영어입니다. 고맙습니다. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Let us now begin the seminar. I hope you have a fresh refreshment during the lunch. And I'm personally thrilled to carry out a UN-DESA SMU International Seminar on strengthening local governance through Saemaul Undong for effective implementation for sustainable development goals. My name is Jin. It's a pleasure to grab a microphone in front of you and carry out the seminar. It's an honor to be here. And this afternoon, we have 2 engaging sessions lined up today, each with 2 insightful presentations as well. And after each session, we will carry out a panel discussion featuring an expert lineup of speakers, very special speakers who will deliver deep into the topics. And at the end of each session, we encourage you to raise your hands and feel free to ask any questions as you wish, that we have prepared a microphone right here. And we want this seminar to be as interactive as possible, so please be noted and don't hesitate to join in during the seminar. So let us now dive into today's seminar. And to kick off, I am pleased to introduce you to Mr. Chang-Sup Han, the head of the United Nations Project Office on Governance, who will share a few words officially opening this session. So I would like to invite Mr. Han up to the stage. So why don't we give a big round of applause?
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and esteemed participants, it's a great honor to join you in the historic city of Gyeongju for the Global Saemaul Ministerial Meeting and Global Saemaul Leadership Forum 2025. I warmly congratulate you on the convening of this important gathering and extend my sincere gratitude to the Korea Saemaul Undong Center for co-organizing this international seminar with the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. On behalf of UN-DESA, I extend a warm welcome to ministers, vice ministers, and distinguished participants from 46 countries. the United Nations Secretary General's Our Common Agenda and the 2024 Pact for the Future highlights that achieving the 2030 Agenda requires a stronger multi-level governance and deep engagement with the local actors. In the same spirit, UNDESA has been achieving SDG localization through voluntary local reviews and global networks. Against this backdrop, the Saemaul Undong trend stands out as a remarkable model. Launched in the Republic of Korea in the 1970s, it bridges the urban-rural divide through a can-do spirit, participatory governance, and community-driven infrastructure. Its values of diligence, self-help, and cooperation remain highly relevant to poverty eradication, sustainable communities, and global partnerships. Over the years, Saemaul Undong has expanded globally through ODA projects and knowledge sharing, inspiring countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. International organizations such as UNDP and OECD have recognized its value in localizing the SDGs, showing how community-level development can translate global commitments and local action. This seminar takes place at a critical time. The UN Sustainable Development Goals Report 2025 shows that accelerated efforts are urgently needed. Locally rooted, community-centered models like the Saemaul Undong provide practical pathways to advance inclusive and participatory governance and resilience local development. Today's theme is strengthening local governance through Saemaul Undong for effective implementation of the SDGs. Is especially meaningful as it marks the first co-hosted seminar between the United Nations and Saemaul Undong Center. Together, we'll draw lessons from the 50 years journey of Saemaul Undong and explore how its principles can align with the United Nations 2030 agenda. I trust that our exchange of ideas will provide valuable insights for policymakers and community leaders alike. In closing, I extend my deep appreciation to all moderate speakers and panelists for sharing their expertise and to every participant for your commitment. I look forward to our rich discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Han has given us a warm words and also setting the tone for today's discussions indeed. And now it is our time for congratulatory remarks to begin this very seminar. And it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Beatrice Chinyama, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Community Development and Social Services of Zambia. Please welcome Her Excellency with a big round of applause.
Good morning. Mr. President, Korea Undong Center, organizers of the great program, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and privilege to be here today to deliver my congratulatory message. Indeed, the remarks in my capacity as Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. On behalf of the government of the Republic of Zambia, I take this opportunity to thank and congratulate the Korea Saemaul Undong leadership for taking this initiative to organize this important annual event. This year's event has gained more prominence and momentum in that we have been joined by 5 more member countries and have learned more new strategies in Saemaul Undong movement. Zambia is now ready to move to the next stage. Our government and communities are committed and the structures are in place. What we need is your continued financial and technical partnership so that we can scale up to additional districts. Especially that Republic of Korea and Africa countries have a share in terms of history as well as path to development. Believe me and believe us, Mr. President, Africa is rising. I mean, Africa is booming. The Africa of today is about economic growth, and SMU spirit is the root of this growth. Once again, I thank you for your leadership, friendship. We look forward to working more closely with you as we take Saemaul Undong in Africa for the next level. Indeed, to the next level, we say, thank you, Amsamida.
Thank you, Mr. Nyama, for your gracious and welcoming words. I hope it really started off today's seminar with a good energy for sure. And I believe it's now a brief time for us to have a commemorative photo session before we begin the very seminar. And before we begin, yes, I think you're almost ready for the photo session. I would like to ask our esteemed guests from these 2 tables to come up on stage so that we can have a photo session before we begin. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, this is a commemorative photo session. 네, 저희 잠시 사진 촬영 진행하고 그 다음에 세션 시작해볼까 하는데요. 네, 내빈분들 무대 앞으로 모시겠습니다. Yes, do not refuse. This is a time for commemorative photo session. Yes. Yes, please. Before we begin, I would like to invite our panels and also to our moderators so that we can remember this very moment. Yes, please. I'd like to welcome you on stage. This way, please. Please be careful of your steps. 네, 계단 조심하시고요. This way, please. Yes. More to your right. Yes. Yes, I believe this is the center. Yes, please. This way, please. Yeah, more to. Yeah, I think we. Yes, please. We have more room over here. Yes. Why don't we all move to your right a little more? Yes, please. We have to empty these spots right here for the photo. Yes, please be careful. We have to wait for one more. Yes. Esteemed guests over here. Yes, please. Secretary General, please take your time. 계단 조심하시고요. 네, 이쪽으로 오시겠습니다. 네, 여기도 자리가 있는데. Alright. Please look at the camera. And because this is right after lunch, we're not really smiling at the moment. Why don't we all smile? Please look at the camera. Thank you very much. Please give a big round of applause. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Thank you very much. We took a moment to carry out a commemorative photo session so that we can remember this very moment. And currently, you're here with us for a first session of the UN DESA SMU International Seminar on strengthening local governance through Saemaul Undong for effective implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And while the stage is being prepared, let me briefly share a few words. The Saemaul Undong itself has been widely recognized as one of the Korea's most impactful community-driven development models. And what began as a grassroots initiative has since provided inspiration and for many communities around the world, and I think we can all agree on that. And seeking sustainable and inclusive growth as well. And in particular, the Saemaul Undong emphasizes the value of diligence, self-help, and cooperation that we are all aware of. And principles that remain highly relevant today at this very moment as we all address shared global challenges such as poverty reduction, rural development, and climate resilience as well. And to begin, I think you're almost ready for our first session. And for our first session, we're going to carry out titled Principles and Practices of Saemaul Undong for Sustainable Community Development. And this session will be provide us with a valuable opportunity to revisit the core values and implementation strategies of Saemaul Undong and to reflect on how these can be aligned in principles of effective governance and the Sustainable Development Goals too. And let us now carry out our first session. It is my honor to invite the moderator for this very session, Jong-dae Park, the visiting professor of Yonsei University. So please, why don't we give a big round of applause? And yes, please. Professor Jong-dae Park is our moderator for session 1. So why don't I leave the floor to you? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Warm welcome to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to this great session on governance. So we have in this session 2 practitioners as well as 2 experts on Saemaul Undong governance. And before I begin, let me point out this importance of this agenda. It is about, as our head of UN Governance Center mentioned, the key word is governance and sustainable development goals. And Saemaul Undong actually captures both. And the key word mentioned was localizing SDGs. So Saemaul Undong is very relevant to this objective. And we have very fruitful discussion, I believe. Saemaul Undong is not about just rural development per se, but it's also part of the governance, strong governance for holistic development. So we'll discuss about this aspect in this session. So let me introduce to you our panelists. For the presenter, first presenter will be Mr. Akmal Zairov, coordinator of Tajikistan. So please, come forward, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, please be seated. Okay, next presenter is Professor Im Young-baek of Seonggyeol University. Thank you. And for discussion, first discussion, Professor Han Do-yeon of Academy of Korean Studies. Okay, thank you. And second discussion is Madam Musonda Chisanga, Community Development Officer of Zambia Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. You're most welcome. Okay, since we are all seated, we will proceed. So I will mention the procedure. So we'll keep good time because we have another session following this. So a presentation should be for 10 minutes. So I encourage, 15 minutes. So I encourage you to keep the time. 15 minutes each for a presentation, followed by a discussion. And discussion will speak for 10 minutes. And then afterwards, we have a Q&A session. I think discussion and opening the floor for this is important. So I'm very much looking forward to this. So let's begin with the first presentation, Mr. Akmal Zairo. Okay, you can go ahead. Yes, at the podium.
Thank you very much. Dear guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to be here and presented the result of the cooperation between our committee, Local Development Committee, under the President, Republic of Tajikistan, and Saemaul Undong Center, Korean Republic. I would like to express my gratitude to the President of the Saemaul Undong Center of the Republic of Korea, dear Kim Gwan Lim, and to Ministry of Internal Affairs and Security of the Republic of Korea for organizing the second meeting, ministerial meeting of the Saemaul Undong Center of Korea at a high level. With sincere respect, I extend my sincere greetings to each of you, esteemed participants, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Tajikistan. In this context, I wish you success in today's meeting, and I am fully confident that this meeting will lay a solid foundation for the development of mutually beneficial cooperation. And in this context, I wish each of you unprecedented success in implementing pilot project for rural development. First, I would like to provide information about the cooperation between our committee and the Saemaul Undong Center, and then you can get to know the result of our work more closely based on the photograph. The Local Development Committee under the President of the Republic of Tajikistan has been working effectively with the Saemaul Undong Center for the past 4 years, and in agreement with the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, organizes and holds annual seminars and training courses on local development. It should be noted that the cooperation of the Local Development Committee with this organization started already in 2021, and so far 4 training courses have been held in cooperation with this organization to get to know and study the best practice of the Republic of Korea at the local level, including one in 2021 in the city of Dushanbe in the Republic of Tajikistan, and 3 times in 2022, 2023, and 2024 in the Republic of Korea, with a total participation of 72 officials from the level of the executive body of state power. It is worth nothing that is activities of the Saemaul Undong Center including a model of village development based on provide experience in development partners countries, such as the Republic of Tajikistan. In this context, aimed at increasing the contribution of village residents to the improvement and created of the local environment. According to the information we have received, we know that such experience is being implemented in 11 countries around the world on the basis of pilot project with the financial support of the Saemaul Undong Center. And we are also proud that Tajikistan is among this country and is including advanced practices in pilot village. It is a great feeling that on the basis of fruitful cooperation in the past years, this organization has created project financial support fund for 4 pilot villages of the Republic of Tajikistan, which are being implemented in coordination with the government of the Republic of Tajikistan and the coordination of the local development committee under the president of the Republic of Tajikistan, comprising 5 stages with a total funding of 440,000 US dollar. At the same time, the working group of the Saemaul Undong Center for the implementation and monitoring of pilot village project then I show pictures. This about history, but corporation, our committee. After then, I show you pictures about our work. Don't be worried. Thank you very much. At that time, the working group of the Saemaul Undong Center for the implementation and monitoring of pilot village project in the Republic of Tajikistan, led by my friend Dr. An Song-il, director of the International Bureau of the Korean Saemaul Undong Center, made 2 work visits to our country last year and is well acquainted with the result of our work. I am fully confident that the fruitful cooperation between the local development committee under the president of the Republic of Tajikistan and the Saemaul Undong Center will become even stronger and more solid. And on this basis, the scope of pilot village project will be expanded in the coming years. In this regard, the local development committee, in agreement with the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, expresses its readiness for future cooperation. Summing up the result of fruitful cooperation in 2024, the first stage of the project implementation. On the basis of mutually beneficial cooperation with the Saemaul Undong organization and in coordination with the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, the result of implementation of the project to support pilot village in Tajikistan has been achieved. This village, we have 4, we have 4 pilot village in our country. My name is Gulreza, Ayoti Now Bahor, and Faizbakhsh. In our village, you can see. Holding a fruitful meeting with the leadership of the local development committee under the president of the Republic of Tajikistan. Participation of the working group from the Republic of Tajikistan in training seminar for beneficiaries for Saemaul Undong project in the Republic of Korea. Our working group coming, you can see, participated in the training. With the financial support of Saemaul Undong to hold a training seminar for other village of Shahrinau district in order to familiarize with the experience of Pilot village and the best practice of Shahrinau, best practice of Saemaul Undong in Shahrinau, Republic of Tajikistan. We have another training in our country. You can see. This district Shahrinau, we organized it by support in the Saemaul Undong. Financial support, we organized this worker group in our country. This is by Gulreza Pilot Village area. In connection with the above, we note that the project funds, according to the report submitted at the first stage of the project in 2024, $90,600 each village were fully spent on the implementation of planning projects. All projects finished last year. Just I can show first this village, Gulreza, pilot village Gulreza, the result of the first phase of the completed project in the pilot village of Gulreza in terms of laying a drinking water line, and Hayoti now pilot village in terms of repairing an internal road. And then the result of the first phase of a completed project in the pilot village of Naubahor in the direction of electric cables and poles, and Faizbakh, another pilot village in the direction of replacing 2 electric city transformers. The final result of the first phase of pilot project in the Republic of Tajikistan in 2024 in the village of Gulrez, the drinking water was extended from a depth of 130 meters. A 40-ton cistern was installed to store water. With the support of the villagers, water was installed in every household in the village. More than 1.5 kilometers of road was paved in the village of Hayoti now. More than 100 electric poles will replace it in the village of Naubahor. Solar light were installed on electric poles at the expense of residents. In the village of Faizbakh, 2 electrical transformers were replaced. At the time, 5 kilometers of electric cables were replaced at the expense of the residents. So I think so a very nice result for our country. And next. So. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now I will provide you with information about the new project from this year, progress in implementation of the second phase of the project to support the Saemaul Undong Center in the Republic of Tajikistan in 2025. In the context of implementation of the Saemaul Undong support project in the second stage in pilot villages, the following projects were selected. Construction of the spillway dam in the pilot village of Hayotinau. Construction of the spillway dam in the pilot village of Faizbakh. In the pilot village of Naubahor, installing of 2 electric transformers and laying of a drink water line. In the pilot village of Gulreza, installing of an electrical transformer and repair for drains in the village. We would like to inform you that today The Saemaul Undong Center has transferred project fund of 76,000 US dollar to the bank account of the pilot village. On this basis, of which work on the implementation of the project in the second stage has begun in all pilot village and will be complete by the end of September this year. I can show it as a new project, pilot project and pilot village, and then finish it. This work, Hayoti now pilot village. Construction water underway in the Feisbach pilot village. Progress of construction work in the pilot village of Naubahor. You can see. Progress of construction work in the pilot village of Gulreza. In conclusion, I wish each of you all the best. I would also like to develop joint cooperation with the Saemaul Undong Center and cooperation in the implementation of pilot project in many villages of Tajikistan. I wish you a good journey. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organization and all the staff of the Saemaul Undong Center. We are waiting for you in mountains and the very beautiful country, Tajikistan. Welcome to our country, dear colleagues. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So Tajikistan started the first phase last year and seems to be moving on well with the second phase this year with electrical projects and construction. Now let us have second presenter, Professor Lee Myung-baek, come and make the presentation for 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alkmaar, for keeping exact time.
Thank you. I am honored to have a chance to make a presentation in front of you. Before start my presentation, please forgive my poor English. I am short on time. I'll explain briefly. Yes, my presentation consists of 4 contents. Yes. First, I want to emphasize every country is different, just different. This is not comparative concept, just different. And I want to emphasize the characteristic of Korea. Korea have 5,000 nation state, and you are in Gyeongju City. This is the capital of Oizu Kingdom named Silla. Silla dynasty lasted 100 years. In China, Ming dynasty, Qing dynasty is a very strong kingdom, but they lasted less than 300 years. But in Korea, many countries lasted 500 years, 700 years, even though 1,000 years. I mean, Korea has a very long history about nation state. And in general, most countries, warrior became a ruling class. But Korea is, instead of Korea history, scholar is ruling class. This is a unique situation. And Korea has a long history and Confucianism, but there is no royal family and nobility. And small country, many populations. So after independence, Korea has only one thing, human resource. Therefore, in Korea, education was the most important means of success for individual and the most important means of development to nation. In Korea, every year, 70% of high school graduates go to university. In every year. Yes. And in Korea, the last kingdom is Joseon dynasty. Joseon dynasty lasted about 500 years. And Confucianism is very strong idea in Joseon dynasty. Of course, the Joseon dynasty was a pre-modern class-based state, but Joseon dynasty was a perfect unified and centralized state. One language, one letter. I mean, Korea is a very homogeneous country, and it means very efficient country. Yes. I will skip explanation for this page. Yeah. I want to emphasize special character of Korea. As I mentioned before, through the history, scholar is a ruling class in Korea, and Confucianism, but there is no royal family and aristocracy. So, in Korea, education is very important social system. So I mentioned before, and every year, 70% of high school graduates go to college and university. It's best in the world. In every year, at least 1,000 people get a doctor's degree in USA in every year. So Korea was a few natural resources, but abundant of human resources. This is very important and special characteristic of Korea. And I want my second content. I wanted to explain Saemaul in Korea development process. Yeah, Korea independent in 1945, and there was a Korea War from 1950 to 1953. At that time, Korea was suffering from food lack of food. So Korea started a 5-year plan for increased agricultural production from 1953 to 1957. Of course, failed. But Korea get experience. This is a good trial and error in Korean development history. I mean, Saemaul Undong was not first rural development movement in Korea. Yeah, in 1945, Korea get independent. Korea after the independence in 1945, the illiteracy rate among the population age 13 was 77%. 77%, but now less than 1%. As soon as Korea gained independence, it made eradicating illiteracy one of the most important tasks. Korea started rural development in 1950s, especially rural extension. This is started in Great Britain. But frankly, there is not enough result. But it was give some experience and to Korea development history. And Korea established the agricultural infrastructure in 1960s. Saemaul Undong started in 1970, but Korea established the agricultural infrastructure in 1960s, 10 years before. For example, water development, land consolidation, land reclamation, and development of a new variety. I'll explain later. Korea started Saemaul Undong in 1970s, but 1 year later, Korea developed the first hybrid just 1 year later. Let me take one example, rice. Korea government has 27,000 rice species in lab. 27,000 rice species in lab. It made possible Korea develop a new hybrid. In 1970s, Korea government established many government organizations. For example, Rural Development Administration. Rural Development Administration have many research. For example, now more than 1,000 masters and doctors employed in Rural Development Administration. So, though Korea started Saemaul Undong in 1970s, but 1 year later, Korea can develop new hybrid. Korean government was established various government agencies that research agriculture technology and provide them to farmers. I wanted to emphasize in development country, the role of farmer is limited, and the role of government is very important. Korea started Saemaul in 1970s, but 1 year later, Korea developed new hybrid, not by farmer, but by government research organization. And I mentioned before, Korea government IDA has 27,000 rice species. 27,000. There is another large organization, international organization in Philippines, IRRI, International Rice Research Institute. They have more than 100,000 rice species in there. Yeah. This shows technical developments in Korean agriculture. Left side is purebred, no genetic engineering. Left side Korean averaging cow, purebred, no genetic engineering. Right side development in Belgium, new species. This shows technological development. Yeah. And in 1962, 8 years before Saemaul Undong, Korea started the first 5-year economic development plan. And Saemaul Undong started in 1970. And 1972 years is very important in Korean development history because in 1972, Korea started the third 5-year economic development plan. And the goal of the third 5-year economic development plan is heavy and chemical industry. And in 1972, Korea started the first national land development plan. So in 1972, national land development, economic development, and Saemaul Undong implemented in simultaneously. I mean, Saemaul Undong started in 1970s, but Korea started economic development plan 8 years ago. So there is just a great synergy effect between rural area and urban area, and Saemaul Undong and industrialization. I skip explanation of this page. Yeah. Korea started Saemaul Undong in 1970s, and 1 year later, Korea developed the new hybrid. I mean, high-yielding new variety. So Korea achieved self-sufficiency in rice since 1975. But in 1975, there is just some problem. I mean, many young people, young and educated people migrated from rural area to urban area because Korea started heavy industry development in 1972. So Korea achieved self-sufficiency in rice in 1975, but there are many migration from rural area to urban area. So unbalanced development between rural area and urban area started in 1975. I explain briefly. Korea achieved food self-supply in 1975. This is agricultural production amount. This is domestic price. But after 1975, there is an increasement of supply caused by technical development, new hybrid, mechanization. But there is no increase in demand. So there is an increasement of agricultural production, but there is a price down. This is a situation in Korea. It may sound paradoxical, but after this period, good technology and increase of agriculture production can be dangerous to farmer and rural development. Yes. Yeah. I explained current change and challenges of Saemaul Undong in Korea. This shows development of industrialization in Korea. Korea started first 5-year economic development plan in 1962, and Korea started third 5-year economic development plan in 1972, and Saemaul started in 1970. Now Korea located this area. But I mentioned before, Korea achieved food supply in 1975, but there is a great people's migration from rural area to urban area. So, unbalanced development of rural area and urban area started in 1975. This is an ironic situation. Yes. So, in Korea, the people's migration from rural area and urban area, and especially concentration in metropolitan area, is very serious. Seoul, the capital of Korea, just 0.6% of South Korea's land area, but 20% of Korean people live there. In metropolitan area, just 11.8% of South Korea's land area, but there are more than 50% of Korean people live there. But so the unbalanced development of rural area and urban area is a very serious problem in Korea. But Korea has a geopolitical advantage of development. Korea is surrounded by sea on three sides. Generally, a combination of rail and ship is an optimal mode of transportation. I visited Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is a developed country in the world. Only two countries in the world, Uzbekistan, Liechtenstein. Yes. I mean, geopolitical politics is different in every country. This picture shows migration from rural area to urban area. You are in this Gyeongju city, the capital of Oide dynasty, Silla. Yes. So in Korea, Saemaul Undong is a very successful rural development movement, and to be quickly popular in Korea. But Saemaul Undong laid the foundation of rural development and industrial development. But it is also led to difficulty due to population outflow from rural area to urban area. In generally, more young and more educated people migrate from rural area to urban area. This is a worldwide phenomenon in the world. I've been to about 70 countries. Many countries, they are still, no time. I just want to emphasize one picture. After food achieves food supply, Saemaul Undong and farmer have to change from producer to manager. I wanted to emphasize this. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Im Young-baek. Professor Lim has actually taken us through a very interesting multi-dimensional process of development, linking Saemaul Undong, but also other aspects of development, like urbanization, industrialization. So he gave us the real picture of what happened in Korea and what we need to also think about in terms of comprehensive, sustainable development, also challenges. So that was very enlightening. Thank you. And to discuss about these two presentations, which has a contrast. First presentation was on the real ongoing project in Tajikistan. And second was about reflecting, analyzing Korea's process of development with Saemaul Undong at the center. Now let's have discussion by Professor Han Do-yeon, and then next followed by Madam Musunda. Professor Han Do-yeon, you can discuss about for 10 minutes.
Here.
Yes. Oh, it's up to you. Do you want to discuss in the podium or whatever is comfortable with you?
I think sitting is better
Okay. But yeah,
for you.
yeah, we all maybe feel comfortable sitting.
During lunch, Professor Lim told me he would speak Korean. So I was very confident, but he spoke in English. So I had to practice my English for you all. And when I met Professor Chewono, asked me how long and how much I was involved in Saemaul Undong. Well, when I was in grade 5th elementary school, Saemaul Undong started in Korea, 1971. So I was involved in Saemaul Undong more than 50 years, right? So almost the history of Saemaul. So Professor Lim gave us a concise history of Korea and also concise history of Saemaul Undong, and Mr. Jairov Akmal reported a very beautiful story of Saemaul Undong, Tajikistan. Koreans and Japanese are very famous of working hard, right? But on Christmas Day, most people in the world take their holidays, but last year I visited Tajikistan. On Christmas Day, all people work, so it was very impressive, very working hard. And as you know, Saemaul Undong was very successful in 1970s in Korea. Why? I think it's the question. Because Korea worked hard to eradicate the poverty, to achieve kind of a dream, not American dream, but Korean dream. Even under colonial government, we had many rural programs. Also, Lee Seung-man government, 1940s, 50s, we had a land reform. Under Park Chung-hee, 1960s, not so successful. As Professor Lim told us, 1990s or 21st century Korea, rural development is not so impressive. Why we were successful in 1970s? The same country, the same Korean population. Now Koreans have more advanced education, right? 1970, in rural Korea, in my village, my parents' generation had no education, public education, especially women. In my village, adult women, nobody went to elementary school even. Men, maybe some of them went to elementary school. That we call elite people in the village, for those who got their elementary school graduate. That's the situation, also very poor. In the village, no electricity, no running water. In my 6th grade elementary school, I wanted to learn English, but I could not find teacher. We could not find bookstore. But luckily, I found a friend who came to my village from city, Daegu. I found his book. He said, I don't want to study, you get it. So I borrowed the book and I studied the English book, ABC to English. So I mastered English by self-study. No applause? But thank you. Despite those difficult situations, Korea was very successful. When I saw the picture book of 1975, Saemaul Undong, the achievement of Saemaul Undong, one of the page, I was surprised to see my village there. My village had a construction bridge over the river. We call Saemaul Bridge. At that time, we were very excited, but at that time, we didn't have a TV. So we didn't know how broadcasting or TV talk about that story. But when I became professor, I studied Saemaul Undong, and I read the book. In the book, I found my village was very, very impressive. So the record of Saemaul Undong, archive of Saemaul Undong, is listed as a memory of the world by UNESCO. So it's not for Korea. The history, the story of Saemaul Undong is for human beings. That's to say what UNESCO says. Thank you. And so in 1950, 60, Korea learned the American model, community development. So in American University, they taught community development. And also we learned from the Philippines. We invited experts from the Philippines. UP, University of the Philippines, they have a Department of Community Development. So many professors, government officials went to Manila to study community development. So if you study history of Korea Saemaul Undong, in early period, many experts from Philippines came to Korea to teach us. So what I'm saying is the story of Saemaul Undong is not just Korea, not unique Korea. If we have some elements of the success of Saemaul Undong, anywhere you can practice it. I think one example is Myanmar. We went to Myanmar 2013. Before that, also in Myanmar, there were some pilot projects, 5 villages a year. But 2013, KOICA went to Myanmar with a bigger, ambitious project, Korean style, 100 villages, very, very successful. We introduced the principle of performance-based support and inter-village competition and the villagers' ownership, community-driven development. You see, all those beautiful stories are found in textbooks by UN or by World Bank or by Columbia University. But practice comes from Korea's Saemaul Undong. That's the difference. So theory and practice. Especially in the 1970s, the Korean government, local government officials were very much devoted to development itself. We call it development first or developmentalism. So it's quite unique if you study local government. They focus on security or policing or taxation, but in 1970s, the first goal, primary goal of local government is to develop rural villages first. So that's the goal. So Dr. Edward Reed, president of Asia Foundation, says 1970s, the status of farmers in Korea much, much improved, very high. So also the primary goal of the local government was to develop rural area. So in terms of policy goals, different. So when I visited Tajikistan, I was really surprised. Every village we visit and local government officials were involved in the village project, and 4 villages were coordinated by our Saemaul Undong coordinator and also by the local government. We found very good governance there, so also good village tradition, villagers' ownership, and working hard. So no wonder, I think, the achievement of Tajikistan in Saemaul Undong, very impressive. I visited many, many villages in many countries, maybe more than 30 countries, but Tajikistan's achievement just 1 year is very impressive. So why it's so successful? So if you, good combination of elements, successful elements for Saemaul Undong, community development, I think we can guarantee the success. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for keeping exact time, you really practice the spirit of Saemaul. You are very disciplined. To the second, you are precise. And thank you for your also comments. I also learned right this moment why agricultural rural development was not successful in the 50s, 60s, but was successful in the 70s because of the outcome of development and its strengthening of governance, including the education system. So thank you for your insight. And you talked about good example of Tajikistan in terms of governance. And I also visited another country here, represented here by Madam Musunda. Zambia is also a country of very good governance. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. Anyway, as you are discussing, Madam Musunda, why don't you also discuss what was presented in 10 minutes?
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor. We had very good presentations, and before I ask questions, I have to make some comments. The second presentation by Professor Lee, there's one statement that was on the presentation, which says, "My role is to explain the Saemaul Undong in Korea, and it's your role to apply it in your country and make it successful." For me, this one is something that we can all think about. When I was appointed as a coordinator in 2023, and when we started implementing the Saemaul Undong in our country, I came to learn for the first time with my fellow coordinators here. And I learned a lot from them and how they are implementing the projects in their countries. So when I went back home, I sat down and I looked at what we already have. Because when we thought about signing an MOU and taking part and wanting to implement the Saemaul Undong concept, we already had a program that we have. It's called Community Self-Help Initiative, which is being implemented in Ministry of Community Development. And it's similar to what the concept of Saemaul Undong is, or the spirit of Saemaul Undong is, and what it's all about. So it was we were only lacking some of the things that we needed to improve on. So it came at the right time. So for me, I looked at it to say, there's no need for me to start something new. We already have this program. We just need to enhance it. So the Saemaul Undong project actually is under the community self-help, which is being implemented by government. So already, like what Professor said, already government is supporting the project. So we are working with other line ministries, like Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education. So we involve other ministries depending on the project that the community has come up with. I can give an example of the project that is being done now. Is the construction of a 1x3 classroom block. So we had to involve Ministry of Education because we need to maintain the standards of how the classroom should be built and what should be done. So we involve the experts that are supposed to know what is supposed to be done. So we have the planners from Ministry of Education, and also if it's local government, we also have the engineers that provide the technical support to help the community. So that is how we are collaborating with the community. For now, we are now considering the communities as our partners. We are working with them because we have to listen to them, and once they identify the needs in their communities, then we, us as government, we come in with the financial support and also the technical support. Another thing that I learned from the second presenter, Professor Lim, he said each village has its own rules and tradition of collective labor cooperation. This is something that I've learned. The 4 pilot villages that we have in Zambia, when I deal with them differently because I've realized their challenges are different. Even just the way they work and how the culture also is also different. So you have to find a way on how you can deal with each village because they are different and how they see things and how you can help them and work with the villages that, the pilot villages, sorry. On this, the first presentation, I'm impressed with what is being done. What I wanted to find out is I've seen their projects that were presented. I've seen the construction of the roads and also electricity. So, like I have mentioned, in Zambia we work closely with the experts that help us with the implementation of the projects. But the ones that I saw in the presentation, they were quite technical. I don't know, I would want to learn how that is being done, if the community is working with the other technical experts that are involved in the implementation of the project. And also in terms of funding, I've seen government come in to fund the projects. Is it them doing separate projects, or is the same projects that the communities identified by the communities and also funded by the center? Is it an additional funding, or you have separate projects that you're doing that the community identify in those villages? Thank you.
Okay, so those are comments. I saw also a question for you. So before I, discuss about the others, maybe you respond to Ms. Musonda's question as a beginning of the discussion.
Thank you very much, Ms. Musonda. It's a very possible question. In our country, like SMU country, it's about problems with transport, maybe another problems in our pilot village. Firstly, they decide the problem in the local area, representative from the who lives in the pilot village. Then rural committee, and then district, and then me. But this system is solves all of problems. If we see we can help not this pilot, all of villages in our country, we can write official letter firstly, and we analyze the problem, monitoring problem, and if we solve this problem local area, and we don't take this, but Howard, he answered official when we sent him a letter, official letter about this problem. If local government decide this problem, it's not it then finish it. And if a big problem, maybe how take so expensive, maybe for we say about electricity project, pilot project about this. I say in the presentation, how can we help? How our community help? This ministry electrical, we send official letter. Why? Because changing transformer, electric transformer in not be. I want apologize for the speaking English, but not very well. With your permission, I will ask my colleague to help me. I won't speak another language, Russian language, because you all live finding. Please.
Please, can you make the response short, because we want to have also Q&A time. So be brief, please.
Я хочу рассказать о проблеме. Вот она сказала, что как можно решить проблему в нашем ситуации в Республике Таджикистан. Есть центральный аппарат, есть местный аппарат, и дальше там идет джамуат и комитет Махаллы. Наш комитет Махаллы 4 у нас пилотных. Когда у них проблема будет, в основном те деньги, которые сейчас отправили к нам, это получается только для тех расходов, которые не зависят от жителей деревень. Это напрямую идет на ход строительства. А то, что зависит от, вот, например, технику обеспечивает, трудом надо что-то там копать, это за счет будет местных жителей. А здесь роль местного аппарата в чем заключается? Они предоставляют технику, они содействуют, синхронизируют как бы работу местного джамуата и местного, в нашем случае, в данном комитете, комитет Махаллы называется. У нас комитет Махаллы для предоставления той или иной техники для вот, в реализации нашего проекта. В нашем случае во всех направлениях, которые мы выбрали, есть ведомство, министерство, которое занимается этим. И проблемы решаются непосредственно на данном этапе, на местном уровне. Пока что у нас никаких проблем до центрального аппарата из Махаллы не было.
So I will be short. As you mentioned, there is the co-financial from the citizens of that rural area. The financial from the project goes directly to some part of the works, and our local authorities also make their support. Also, our citizens who live in rural areas, they also make their own support for this project. So we have two central authorities which control this whole process of the project, and also local authorities. So it's like teamwork, and funding from the Saemaul Undong Center. Also, it's not only all things not goes from Saemaul. So it's like kind of co-financial work. Every village has their own support also in this project.
Okay, thank you. And Professor Lim, Imyang-baek, would you like to respond to any of the comments made by Professor Han and Madame Musonga? If so, very shortly.
I can say enough. I just wanted to first, I can explain Korea's characteristic and trait. And second, semi-modernization and localization is important. Let me take one example. There is the most highest mountain in Korea, about 3,000 meters. But Tajikistan, territory of Tajikistan, the territory of about 80% is more higher than Baekdu Mountain. So I want to emphasize there is a difference and among there is difference in each country, and you have to find your way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, because of time, I would really like to open the floor for your discussion because I see here the presence of many prominent figures, honorable ministers. I see many of you. So I would like to have this Q&A. If you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. We'll do so for about 10 minutes. Okay, and the mics will be ready. Okay, anyone with questions or comments?
So we have opened the floor for Q&A session. So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. We have microphones over here. Yes, please. Gentlemen, can you proceed to the microphone over here?
Thank you. Thanks to the presenters. My name is Eddie Dillard. I'm from Liberia. My concern has to do with Saemaul, considering that Saemaul was established in the 1970s. Looking at the present reality in terms of localizing SDG with reference to the implementation of decentralization in Africa and the world at large, what are Saemaul plans in devolution of power from national level to local government? Because most of our presenter project was surrounding around national government, but not local government. So my key word is localizing SDG. What is Saemaul plans in devolution of power from national level to local level? Thank you.
Okay, maybe we take one by one. So any of you would like to respond? Professor Han or Professor Lim? So how do you do to localize this development from national level development to local level development? Or Professor Han?
I think it's a very, very important question. As we saw the case of Tajikistan, we see quite good coordination of central government. It's a presidential commission, like government, local development committee, and also local, provincial government, and then village organizations. So 3 levels, I think they have very good coordination. When we go to some other village development projects in countries, usually central government or some important provincial governments, they don't care of those village projects because it's an ODA project in the villages. But in the case of Tajikistan or Myanmar, the coordination of powers, the central government and the provincial government and the local township government and village, I think they have very good coordination. In Korea, the same. 1950s, 60s, rural development is commissioned to develop the Department of Agriculture. Forestry go to Office of Forestry. Education goes to Ministry of Education. But 1970s, it's a focused, integrated, you call it integrated community development under the Ministry of Homeland. So Minister of Homeland, Minister of the Interior goes even to villages. So it's a real power. So 1970s, Korea started Saemaul Undong in all the villages, 34,000, all the villages. But 1950s, 60s, maybe 10 villages in one county. We select maybe 30 villages around the country, kind of pilot villages. So the outcome was not so impressive, but 1970s, different, nationwide, real movement. So it changed the Korea. So from them, we see the coordination among the central government, provincial government, and township government, villages. Working together is really important. As also Mr. Jairov Akmal mentioned that the co-funding, funding from the central, from provincial, from township, sometimes from foreign aid. So if they work together, it's really important. Also the contribution from the villagers, very important. So whenever we go to village to ask their development, we ask how much the villagers contribute, how they have ownership on the development project. So in terms of that, I think your question is very, very important. Korea, I think 1950s, 60s, the development was not so impressive, but 1970s, we had a kind of a story, like a Kedemon, new story, 1970s. So that kind of experience, important. As you know, Professor Amsden, MIT, professor of political science, she wrote a very beautiful book, Asia's Next Giant. In the book, she told Korea is unique in terms of developing development policy, performance-based differentiated support, and also emphasize competition, also incentive. So that kind of good policy and good governance, also, how can I say, active involvement of villagers, village leadership. That kind of beautiful coordination or governance was important. It's not just from Korea. I think we find some good examples in Rwanda or in Myanmar or in Tajikistan.
Okay, more questions? Okay, you raise your hand, Mike, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Solomon. I'm from Ethiopia, and my appreciation goes to all presenters and the discussants. My question is that during the 1950s, Korea had a civil war and there was severe famine, which I could say that's an opportunity for the citizens and the government to jointly launch the Saemaul Undong and make it successful. And similar stories also in Rwanda, where the genocide have led them to be energetic, and now Rwanda is in movement. But when we see the rest of African nations, I could say there are several socio-economic reasons, and the initiatives are not coordinated, not well coordinated. Probably there are several huge investments supported by the Korean government in Africa, like by KOICA and others. And the various initiatives are at local level, at village level, which is not the same to the Korean case. The Koreans, as said by Professor now, the Saemaul Undong goes throughout all villages in Korea. But the situation is quite different in Africa. My colleagues who came from Africa, they are working on Saemaul Undong under few villages. So my question is, do you think this will bring a substantial change, a national change back home in Africa? I think we need to see it in another perspective. With this huge support from Korean government, with KOICA and other development initiatives, I would strongly also encourage the Korean government to engage with the national leaders, policymakers, the government, to make sure these small level villages are expanded and implemented throughout the nations. Without that, I would say it would be a redundant effort of making Saemaul Undong in a particular village, either in Tajikistan or in Zambia or in Uganda, because they are still working in a very small village. That's my comment. The second is the challenge of the Saemaul Undong current situation in Korea. The professor showed us that most of the citizens are flooding to cities, so there is a strong rural-urban migration. But in my opinion, it could be also be an opportunity unless there is a gap with labor force in the countryside. So long as Korea is now a very developed nation, so long as there is a technology, that could also be an opportunity. But what is the level of policies that is implemented with huge pressure on urban related to environmental pollution? Is there any problem with that, and what mechanism has been implemented to avert this environmental pollution in urban cities? Thank you.
Okay, there was 2 questions, and could be very lengthy to respond. Because of time, I will just get one more question. Okay, any hands? If not, okay, let's answer this question, which has 2 components. Who would like to respond? Professor Lim or Professor Han?
It will be best if you repeat the question once more so that our panelists can understand it.
Okay, I think I understand. The question was, there was this experience of similar experience in, for example, Rwanda, of this as Korea. We went to civil war, and focus was national. But he's asking the reverse side of the question asked. He said, if we are focusing on model villages, for example, it's very limited regional area that we target. But how do you make it into more equitable, comprehensive program for the nation? Okay, so that was the interesting question. And for Korea today, another feature of Saemaul Undong with new development, new technologies, new challenges, right? So how are we, Korea, confronting with this issue from the Saemaul perspective to deal with the latest recent challenges? Okay, so, here talking Korean and will be translated.
네, 한국말로 하셔도 저희가 지금 동시통역기를 사용하고 있기 때문에 편하게 하셔도 괜찮습니다. Since we have a simultaneous interpretation, the answer will be in Korean. Would it be all right? Yes? So please use the receiver that you have.
We have a great interpreter.
동시 통역이 제공되고 있어서 그냥 하셔도 다 들으실 수 있습니다.
설명드렸듯이 한국은 바로 조선이라는 왕조가 있었습니다. 신분제에 기초한 전 근대적인 국가였죠. 분명한 것은 완벽한 통일 국가였고 하나의 언어하고 하나의 문자를 사용했고 그 완전한 중앙 집권 체제였습니다. 그 중앙 집권 체제라는 것을 보여주는 역사 증거가 뭐냐면은 왕위가 아버지의 아들로 부자 상속되는 것이고 왕만 군대를 갖는 것이고 지방관을 파견하는 것입니다. 조선 왕조는 이미 그걸 다 해냈고 한국은 그걸 발전시켰다는 말씀을 드리고요. 또 한국의 개발 정책은 굉장히 로컬 지역에서 이루어진 정책과 국가 전체에서 이루어진 정책이 같이 같습니다. 한 가지 예를 들어드리면 여러분들 서울에서 여기 오시면서 경부 고속도로에 타고 오셨을 겁니다. 나쁘지 않고 괜찮습니다. 경부 고속도로가 1970년에 완공됐습니다. 새마을운동이 1970년에 시작됐는데 여러분이 타고 오신 그 도로가 1970년에 완공됐습니다. 즉 그 이전에 국가 운영 경험을 살려가지고 많은 준비를 해왔고 그 새마을운동이 아무것도 없는 상태에 시작된 것이잖아요. 그 이전에 많이 만들어왔던 여러 정책 속에서 연계돼서 만들었다는 말씀을 드리는 겁니다. 그래서 아까 제가 1972년도를 예를 들었는데 1970년도에 새마을운동이 시작됐지만 1962년도에 이미 경제개발 5개년 계획이 시작됐고 72년도에 제3차 경제개발 5개년 계획이 시작되면서 3차 경제개발 5개년 계획의 목표가 중화공업화였고 또 따라서 70년대 중화공업화가 되니까 대규모 공장의식 토지가 필요해서 한국의 국가 전체 토지 개발 계획도 시작했습니다. 즉 국가 전체의 토지 개발 계획, 국가 전체의 경제 개발 계획, 농촌의 농촌 개발 계획, 새마을운동 세 가지가 동시에 진행됐고 이것이 굉장한 시너지 효과를 냈다는 것입니다. 즉 한국의 정책은 국가 전체적인 정책과 어떤 지방의 정책이 동시에 추진됐고 이것이 시너지 효과를 냈습니다. 앞에서 설명드린 것처럼 여러분이 타고 오시는 게 경부 고속도로가 1970년대에 이 훌륭한 도로가 1970년대 이미 완공이 됐습니다. 세모운동이 시작될 때 이미 이 도로가 완공돼 있었습니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you. So that was translated simultaneously already. So thank you very much. I'm very sorry because of time. We can go on, but we have next session right after this, and you need to have very short, even short, coffee break. So thank you very much for your attention, and we'll follow up with your interest and question and with this panel. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And thank you all the panelists for your effort, endeavor, and we appreciate all of this.
Thank you very much. We will now have a brief coffee break. We will meet you back in 10 minutes. So please refreshen up and I'll meet you back in 10. Thank you. Brief announcement, please. If has anyone seen a wallet, then please let me know. We're looking for it. Thank you very much. 네, 현재 행사장 장내에서 지갑을 찾고 있는데요. 혹시 보신 분께서는 저한테 말씀해 주시면 됩니다. 고맙습니다. Brief announcement, please, ladies and gentlemen. In just a moment, UN DESA SMU International Seminar Session 2 will begin soon. I would like to ask all participants to now enter the venue and please be seated. For a seamless event, please remember to turn your mobile phones off or into silent mode. And for today's sessions, we provide simultaneous interpretation. It's channel 1 for Korean and 2 for English. Please use the receiver placed on your table. 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 잠시 후 유엔대사 새마을 국제 세미나 세션 2가 시작되겠습니다. 참석자 여러분들께서는 행사장 안으로 입장하셔서 자리에 착석해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 원활한 행사 진행을 위해 소지하고 계신 휴대전화는 전원을 꺼주시거나 무음으로 전환해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 오늘 본 세미나는 영어로 진행이 됩니다. 동시 통역이 제공이 되니까요. 테이블에 놓여 있는 리시버 사용하셔서 도움을 받으시기 바라겠습니다. 한국어는 채널 1번, 영어는 채널 2번입니다. 고맙습니다. Brief announcement, please. We will now begin the session 2, leveraging principles of effective governance for sustainable development at local level, lessons learned from Saemaul Undong. I would like to ask all participants to enter the venue and please be seated. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will soon begin the session 2, leveraging principles of effective governance for sustainable development at local level, lessons learned from Saemaul Undong. I would like to ask all participants outside the hall to enter the venue and please be seated. We will begin in 1 minute. Thank you. Brief announcement, please. We will now soon begin the UN DESA SMU International Seminar Session 2. I'd like to ask all participants outside the hall enjoying the coffee break to now enter the venue and please be seated. We will start in a minute. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We will now begin session 2, leveraging principles of effective governance for sustainable development at local level, lessons learned from Saemaul Undong. And this session, we will focus on how the principles of effective governance can be applied and localized through the practices of Saemaul Undong, drawing on diverse experiences, lessons learned from different countries. So it is my honor to introduce the moderator of this session 2, Professor Zahiro Hogg from RMIT University, Australia. Professor Hogg will guide us through the presentations as well. Why don't we welcome the professor with a big round of applause?
Honorable Ministers, Vice Ministers, the Secretary General of Korea Saemaul Undong Center, Head of DESA, Mr. Chang Hen, ladies and gentlemen, delegates, and welcome to this second session and the last session, but not least. And I welcome you to this session. This is very important for us to remember what we really wanted to achieve from this important forum. For the last 2 days, we learned about Korean SMU because this is the final session, and I wanted to remind all of us what was the driving philosophy of SMU. And I'm sure, I think most of you know Professor So, who was the former president of the Saemaul Undong Center. He wrote an article and he reminded us that it's all about the fundamental philosophy by the villagers, for the villagers, and of the villagers. That is the foundation spirit of the whole idea, whole projects, and which builds on 3 key words, which is diligence, self-help, and cooperations. And as you can see, Professor So also mentioned about that that particular 3 key words is the foundation for building good governance, accumulating social capital, and practicing sustainability. And we have couple of very well experts in this particular area, and we have also 2 panel discussions, and I'm sure, I think we all looking forward to hear from them what they are willing to offer to the whole event. So at the end of the sessions, I like to get some ideas what we really wanted to achieve at the end of the sessions. This is very important that we had the all day about this whole idea, mobilizing that SMU ideas to various countries in the world, and what can be achieved through sustainable development goals. United Nations DESA significantly always mention that, okay, we need to achieve our sustainable development goals. We have already spent almost 10 years and 5 years to go. So what we can achieve right through from that SMU center, and after 2:30, what is going to happen? So we need to think about, we need to reflect on what we achieve and what can be done to achieve our goals. So I like to remind us that by the end of the session or by the end of the forum, we like to get some outcome, and if we have to for a plan for the futures. So we have, I would now like to introduce our first presentations, presenters, Professor Q. Bai. Would you like to join this chair, please? Our second presenters, Professor Kamrul Hassan, I would like you to come forward, please, on the position. And panel discussions, we have Professor Won Chai, Catholic University of Korea. Thank you. Our second panel discuss and Dr. Keong Stephen Shua. Thank you. Okay, let's begin our first presentations. And as you already saw that you get maximum 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kiwi Bae, working for Sungsil University. Today, I want to present on how Saemaul Undong, or in the New Village movement, can contribute to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals through effective governance, as set by SEPA. I prepared 35 or 36 slides, but I have only 15 minutes, so sometimes I might be some skip the slides, so in order to adjust the time. Okay. Understanding the Saemaul Undong. As you heard in the first session, maybe the Saemaul Undong was more than just a rural development program. It was, comprehensive social transformation initiative in Korea. It combined infrastructural development, community mobilization, and cultural change. At the core of Saemaul Undong, it promoted three values. One is self-reliance, second one is diligence, third is cooperation. And the government provided resources while community contribute labor and creativity. So the combination of value of Saemaul Undong and government practical assistance became the hallmark of movement. Okay, let me explain the historical context of Saemaul Undong. To understand why Saemaul Undong emerged, let's consider the historical background. Especially in the 1950s and 60s, the development effort focused on traditional community relations and livelihood. By the late 1960s, the focus shifted to rapid economic growth and technocratic planning. And in 1970s, the Green Revolution and the Beijing needs approaches became global strategy. So Saemaul Undong emerged during this period, combining traditional communal values with modern development strategy. Okay, the core principles of Saemaul Undong is as follows: self-reliance, diligence, cooperation. These values are constantly reinforced through vision casting, training, and practice. Okay, here is Korea's unique experience. Korea's approach was quite different from many other developing countries. In many countries, agriculture paid the industrial growth, and moving from village to cities became cities and became common. But in Korea, the opposite phenomenon happened. The state had strong capacity and carry out the radical and land reform and used the industrial success to subsidize rural development. So Belize modernized first before focusing solely on agricultural productivity. This reversal helped the rural community rise alongside urban growth. Okay, here is 3 pages of Saemaul Undong development. So there are 3 stages. First stage is the Belize modernization. Second stage can be called agricultural focus stage. Phase 3 is in the urban expansion period. Especially the urban expansion stage or phases is focused on the beyond the Belize 2 cities. So becoming this period, through this period, Saemaul Undong became the symbol of national development. Okay, just before I already mentioned about the land reform. This land reform can be foundation of the success of Saemaul Undong movement. A critical foundation of for success was radical land reform starting in 1948. Because of the land to the tillers policy, most farmers became landowners. In 1945, they owned just 30% of farmland, but by 1961, the figure rose up to 97%. That is very important. So this policy gave the farmers or villagers a real stake in development and made the Saemaul Undong possible. Okay. Another unique feature of Saemaul Undong is Korea's financing model. Unlike most countries, Korea did not exploit agriculture to finance industry. Instead, industrial growth subsidized rural development. Farmers benefit from high rice prices, while urban workers enjoyed affordable food. This kind of double advantage raised the rural income while supporting the industrialization. Okay, village modernization strategy. Saemaul Undong movement began with village modernization rather than just farming productivity. So this is quite important, especially in third phases, 1970s to 72 and 74, something like that. And each village, received bags of, cement and street roads. And this material was, actually oversupply, from cement plant, but it gave every village to starting point to improve the roads, houses, and, the communal facilities. So, these visible, changes created momentum for the, Saemaul Undong. So these changes pushed the movement forward. Village, okay. Village classification, Saemaul Undong also has village classification system. This is also a very important point to increase the performance of Saemaul Undong movement. The government created a ranking system, incentive system. So villages that use resources that received more support, about 18,000 underperforming villages were excluded. Interestingly, around 6,000 villages were excluded, but they still they still continued on their own self-financing, proving the spirit of self-help. So this kind of the performance system, this system inspired the community across the nation. The Saemaul Undong also had very comprehensive, well-equipped administrative system. As you see, the figure at the top, the president and cabinet met monthly to track the progress, and also the training institute and local officers, and at the village level, and finally village assemblies allow people to participate in decision making. So these kinds of the administrative structure leads to the equipped coordinating system. So this structure combined central government coordination with grassroots involvement. Okay, the dramatic result of Saemaul Undong is quite dramatic. The rural household income grew by 334% from
Professor Bai, you have 4 minutes.
Okay. This is unprecedented rural transformation. The result was quite remarkable. Okay, the movement also delivered from visible infrastructural improvement. So these tangible, these kind of tangible changes boosted villagers' confidence in the movement. So you can see the in detail. Okay. In agriculture, the achievement of the Saemaul Undong was just as significant. The high yield rise increased production by 30 to 40%. So this kind of change modernized rural farming. And cultural, I don't have enough time, so. And Saemaul Undong also reshaped cultural, rural culture. Okay. Okay. So, understanding Saemaul Undong legacy. In order to understand Saemaul Undong properly, Saemaul Undong succeeded in because it connected local action with national goals. This the strategy is related to SDG strategy. And okay, that's why. So these kinds of the rational Saemaul Undong movement gained international recognition. So many countries studied Korea experience, and then international organizations such as World Bank and UN recognized the positive result. Okay, this is, the international division of, Saemaul Undong. Since the 1980s, countries around the world have adopted Saemaul Undong model. Okay.
Just 1 minute, if you can
Okay.
wrap up, please. Thank you.
So I prepared a lot of things, so I don't have enough time. Okay. So I want to skip some slide and.
If you can just conclude the
Okay.
remarks, that would be good.
Yeah, only 10 minutes, 10 seconds left. So yeah, I will explain. If your audience will question, I will answer in detail. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Bao. Thank you for your.
I'm sorry because I don't have enough time, so
I'm
I
sure
have to
we
wrap
have-
up
we have
my
questions for you, yeah.
presentation.
Thank you. I now invite Professor Kamrul Hassan to deliver his speech. And Kamrul Hassan, you have 15 minutes like everyone. Thank you.
First, start there. Start. Oh, what? No. Okay, this one. Moderator of this session, Excellencies, officials of United Nations, Korea Saemaul Center, discussant, presenter, SGL representatives, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to all of you. You see the topic of my presentation, there are two big issues, and I have to complete it within stipulated 15 minutes time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is late hour of the day, and I believe strongly that it is easier to speak but difficult to listen. So I'll be speaking as less possible as much. So to start my presentation, to introduce my presentation, I just picked up two quotations. There are thousands of quotations, publications about the Saemaul potentialities and performances. And I have just picked up two of them. Then the first one is SMU was launched to address the growing gap of economic development between rural and urban areas. That is UNDP 2015. This is a big concern because I'll be focusing on the income distribution, the unique performance of because I don't like to say Saemaul, the unique performance of Korean economy for income distribution. That is mostly related to the goal number 10 of the Sustainable Development Goal, reducing the inequalities within and among the countries. So that is big challenge, and I'll be coming to you later on. And the second sentence, I found this sentence one of the best sentences. So far I know about the Korean Saemaul. It is a little bit long, but still our moderator was just recited a few points there before starting the session, that it is Professor So Jin-kwan. In case of Republic of Korea, a series of SMU project designed and operated on the principles of by the people, for the people, and of the people. I repeat, by the people, for the people, and of the people, and contributed inclusive growth by performing three core tasks of human civilization. It's a wonderful, touching our heart, self-help, diligence, and cooperation. Through people's capacity building, establishing governance, accumulating social capital, and practicing sustainability. If you just carefully look, the sentences, the inclusive growth is the goal number 10 of the SDGs. And if you go to the governance goal number 16. It says there the happiness and inclusive societies. And social capital is directly not there in SDGs, but whenever considered social capital, there is a vital force to implement the 2 goals of the United Nations. Goal number 3, good health and well-being, and goal number 13, it is climate actions. And sustainability is a common concern. So I astonished that that he concentrated all these things in one sentence. This is a unique capacity. So governance in local community, and I know all of you, so I don't like to spend a longer time here, just the community participant, you know that one, democratic leadership. I mean, government support is there. Allow me to read the last sentence. Communities were encouraged to rely on their efforts, the government supports, and implement community-led initiatives. So that worked at the time very well. And it started at the village level and spread all over the societies of Korea. And now the Koreas stand today. Inclusive growth and income distribution. So this is the growth. Goals number, I told earlier that SDGs 10 focuses on reducing inequalities within and among the countries. It has 10 targets and 11 indicators. Inclusive growth reduces income inequalities and poverty. Very challenging. Poverty is a pressing problem for all of our countries. In Bangladesh right now, 20% people, 19% people live below the poverty. In Nepal, 20%. In Indonesia, it is 9% people. In Thailand, 6%. In Uganda, it is more than 16%. If you go to the Burundi, it is more than 63% people live below the poverty line. This is the one tax, because this poverty is measured on the basis of the basic need, on the basis of calorie intake, and sometimes by the United Nations, $1.9 per person per day, if the income is there. This is the line of the poverty. And if you look to the developed country, Korea has 15% people live below the poverty line. In Japan, 16%. And USA, it is 11% people live below the poverty line. And their poverty defined is different way. Their poverty is the median value of their per capita income. So if you bring me, I'm a well-off person in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And if you bring me here in Korea, I'll be the poorest man here. The reason is that my per capita income is less than 17,000 US dollars. So ladies and there's some countries there. So poverty is a very pressing problem in the world now. And only 5 years to go, the SDG ends. Then income distribution is a measure how income distributed among the individual and household in the society. And equal income distribution is a big challenge for all countries. And equal distribution of income lowers poverty rate. I repeat, equal distribution of income lowers poverty rate and reduces grievances among and between the inhabitants. And we see that all over the world, the people are become growing against the governments. The reason is the grievances are there. Money transfer to other countries, corruption is there. So that is the reasons that the inequalities of income is growing. So let me come to the income distribution of a country is well measured by Gini coefficient of income distribution, which varies from 0 to 100% or in numerical value 0 to 1. So let me change the key. So this is I have picked up 5, to give you a sense, I have picked up 5 different countries randomly. No criteria selection of the countries. These are the Republic of Korea, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Nepal, and USA. And I consider 2 different years. 2015, because the benchmark of the United Nations SDGs. And 2024, this is the last year. And we see that the volume of GDPs are here, and the volume, the per capita GDP is there, and the differences in between, and how the income is distributed among its population. So these are the year. And you see that 2 green line is there. On the top, Republic of Korea, and the bottom, United States of America. And in the 9 years, in Korea, $6,400 US increase compared to 2015. And In Bangladesh, $1,300. And in Indonesia, $5,500. And Nepal, $600, around $600. USA, $30,000 in 9 years' time. But the income distribution, you see that only green line 2. That means the income Korea they had in 2015, much more improved by 0.2% in 2024. That is a unique feature. It is a rare feature. In America, have the same figure. That is, there's 0.2%. That means, but America has a benchmark 17% higher than Korea. 17% is a big figure, big disparities. So if you go to the red color in the slide of my light color, the Gini coefficient of income distribution, if it is 2%, that is perfect income distribution. And Gini coefficient of income distribution is greater than 0.5, severe income gap. And Gini coefficient of income distribution equal to 4, warning level of income distribution. It evokes grievances, jealousy, it gives an unrest within a country. So that is that the reference is given Tang 2000. Most probably he's the academicians of Thailand. Tang 2024. I use that references. This is the first part, and second part I'm just going very fast. Second part, case experience of localizing SMU project in 20 villages in Bangladesh. It's old story, but I like to share the experience. It was started in 2008, ended 2012, and we carried out this project on the basis of arranging 2 workshops for need as an assessment and also survey among the 20 villages. And on the basis of that, we carried out the project. And you see that the physical achievements, these are the physical achievements. And to give you a sense that the SMU localizing project give higher income in the project areas. I am saying that I have just taken 200 samples from 20 villages. That means 10 samples from one village. So it is not reliable. But I bring it here. The reason is that to give you a sense how SMU is, we worked better in our villages. You see that one, the national, for the time scarcity, I've just picked up that 22 to 23 figure. National average was 2,500, but in 2 project areas, about 4,000 and 3,300 US dollar. And what are the monetary gains? Monetary gains and non-monetary gains through the localizing project. The monetary gains is that beef fattening and fish culture made remarkable profit in project villages and
Professor Kangrul, you have 4 minutes.
Okay, I'll be coming. I'll just end almost. I'll not cross the time. Transportation become comfortable and less costly, and land values areas increased. And the non-monetary events, development leadership take place, mindset changes. For self-development, physical communication help in developing others, law and order situation of the project area and development capacity, primary education in the village area. So this is, I just pick few pictures here, only 4 on the 7th of this month. And the key learning from my, the 2 key learning is there. So I said that for the Korean performance, yes, we can say that SMU is responsible for this wonderful performance of economic financial distribution, income distribution, but we need to prove it. We need to have some statistic data because the SDG goal number is 17 and target number 18 says that to generate quality data for better planning. So I said that adopting in-depth researches, maybe PhD researches at PSP of Yangnam University can be adopted on the theme of SMU, local governance, inclusive growth, and income distribution of Republic of Korea may generate quality data. And the second one, I said that government can be the lead stakeholder in all countries. Government can be the lead, I repeat, government can be the lead stakeholder for localizing the SMU project. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind patience. I torture your patience for a longer time.
Thank you, Professor. See you. Professor Amrullah, you made a history. You are right on time and finish earlier. I now would like to invite our 2 panel discussants. So when you focus on your discussions, I like you to think about few ideas what we can learn from Bangladeshi context, and also I think from Korean context as when it comes to asking questions, can you please focus on, I think we all like to hear about 3 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, Sustainable Development Goal 1. We don't want any poverty in village areas, no poverty. And Sustainability Development Goal 11, sustainable communities and society. And of course, the last one is the corporate, I think it's partnerships or cooperations. And and then when we finish our presentation, then we have questions from audience. They can ask questions to any of us. So I'd like to start with Professor Onchai. If you can reflect on your questions to our presenters, plus your experience from Korea, how SDGs can be integrated to someone Undong centers, effective governance, and other areas. Thank you. Professor Onchai? Yep, 10 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Professor Che from the Catholic University of... Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor Che from the Catholic University of Korea. My English is not so good enough to discuss, so last night I prepared a brief discussion paper, so I'll just read my brief discussion paper. Thank you for your nice presentation, Dr. Kamal Ahan. I found your slides engaging and full of meaningful insights. The Saemaul Undong movement began in Korea when I was in elementary school. I still remember singing the Saemaul song on my way to school. It's a still vivid memory. As you mentioned, the 3 key values of Saemaul Undong, diligence, self-help, and cooperation, are closely linked to the ideas like social capital and the principle of subsidiarity. I believe these values are still relevant for developing countries today. I also agree that community participation, democratic leadership, and government support are still essential for effective local governance and the success of Saemaul Undong. However, one of the most difficult challenges today is how to reconcile inclusive growth with the deepening economic inequality that has emerged globally in the post-neoliberal era. In Korea, Professor Muhammad Yunus and the Grameen Bank model are well-known examples from Bangladesh. In this regard, I would like to ask, is the microcredit approach, such as that's practiced by Grameen Bank, still considered an effective tool for poverty reduction in Bangladesh today? And then I'd like to ask several questions related to your presentation. First, to promote inclusive growth and reduce inequality, I think it's important to build a strong civil society and fight corruption. These soft elements may be even more important than physical infrastructure. Could you share how Bangladesh is working to strengthen civil society, build social capital, and improve transparency? And second, in Korea, there's growing interest in ESG, environmental, social, governance. ESG management as part of the SDGs. Is ESG also being discussed or practiced in Bangladesh? Last, I'm curious about the multi-level governance model in Bangladesh. How well do local governments and NGOs and international organizations work together? Is this cooperation effective in Bangladesh? It's my question. And second paper is about Professor Baek Gui-hee. In this paper, I learned a lot about Saemaul Undong after reading Professor Baek's presentation. I especially appreciated how the movement was evaluated from different angles, including its historical and institutional background, to explore how it could help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. One point that stood out to me was Korea's land reform after liberation. Farmers were able to own their land, which was very different from other countries, where land inequality continued. This reform gave farmers a strong foundation and helped motivate them to work together and support themselves. Also, the strategy of improving village life before focusing on farming was very effective. By making daily life better, such as housing and roads, like infrastructure, people became more willing to participate. And this later led to better farming results. Related to this, I'd like to briefly mention a similar idea from Professor Jong Sung-yu, a Korean professor. In his book, Democracy, Inequality, and Corruption, Korea, Taiwan, and the Philippines compared. This book was published Cambridge University, 2006. He studied the history of corruption in these three countries. He says that while Korea now promotes the Saemaul Undong model to other developing countries, but it may be more important to share the experience of land reform. This is his point. For countries facing poverty and deep inequality, the land reforms in Korea, Taiwan, and Japan helped create more fairer growth. He believes this message should be shared more widely among developing countries. So I'd like to ask one question. Aside from land reform, I believe the Saemaul Undong also reflects Korea's Confucian community values and historical experience. When promoting the movement globally, do you think enough attention is paid to each country's unique history, culture, and social context? What does the reality look like? It's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wonchai. I now like to hear from our second panel discussant, and I will then have this time for discussion to answer these questions and also audience from, if they have any questions, we can discuss it. No, I think can you just hear from Professor Stephen first, and then we will come back to you, and then he may have similar sort of questions, and then he will also like to reflect on his Uganda experience and share with us his story. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm a moderator. I want to just set one question to both presenters. My name is Stephen Kayongo from Uganda. I'm the Saemaul Undong coordinator from Uganda. So I want to ask this question to our presenters. Number one, and it is one, of course, how can SMU serve as a model for anchoring the SDGs in public discourse and local governance? So both of you can just answer this question. Yes, sure. How can SMU serve as a model for anchoring the SDGs in public discourse and local governance? Yeah, that question, both of you can answer this question. Okay, thank you.
I think it's probably, I think we can start with Kamrul, that if you want to respond to Professor Bai has four questions in relation to Bangladeshi experience. The first question related to whether Grameen Bank is still effective in reducing poverty in Bangladesh. The secondly, how Grameen Bank ensures a civic society and increasing social capital in Bangladesh. Third question was, is ESG in practice in Bangladesh, and whether we have any success story about ESG implementation, and finally about the application of multi-level democracy or governance in Bangladesh. Especially, I'm also originally from Bangladesh, and we have two tiers of government, with the central government and then local government. So we don't have any in the middle, like in Australia, federal, state, and local. We have central and local. I'm sure Kamrul Hassan will share his experience, how our governance system operates in Bangladesh. Thank you, Kamrul.
So thank you very much. I'm just going very short in brief. Yes, if your first question says that Grameen Bank, yes, it is working. And along with Grameen Bank, too many NGOs are there. BRAC is there, Bangladesh Rural Advanced Community, one of the largest NGOs in the world. And also in the government sector, Bangladesh Rural Development Board, Pulli Daridra Vimochan Foundation, BARD is well known, RDA, so many organizations, they are working, because poverty is, sometimes we give a lot of pressures to reduce the level of poverty, and natural storms come due to the climate change, then again, the people just move over the line of the poverty line, again they drop below the one. So this type of, that this is a continuous program and it's going on and doing well. This is the first answer. The second one answer is this SDGs, if it is written there, that SDGs, in like many other countries, the Chief Advisor's Office, Dr. Yunus is there. The Chief Advisor Office maintain, that 17 goals, 169 target, 232 indicators are there. So specifically, these are well maintained by in the government structure all over the countries to take the data, generate the data, and take care of the performance. And social capital, if I say that the Grameen Bank, that I would like to come before earlier, in Kumilla model in 1960s. So the huge social capital, that the social capital at the village level. We know that social capital is nothing but the network of that facilitated the cooperation and coordination in a society, and it creates huge values for the society, for the development, and Grameen Bank is also there. Also, these two programs in Bangladesh did very well, but for some reasons, for some in the top stair, we cannot move this one in the upper level, or we can, in better way, you can say that we can utilize the potentialities of the social capital developed in the village level. And third one is the agent organizations, NGOs and international organizations, and these organizations, government provides every tiers. They are in the administrative units. They provided some committees, including all the stakeholders of the society, to address not only the poverty, but all the agendas of when governments. This is a unique platform, irrespective of the agenda, because whenever it feels that should be addressed, then all stakes should come here and take the measures. And the last one, maybe? No, this is all, huh?
Yeah, I think yes. Yeah, if you can also respond to Professor Stephen's question about.
So thank you.
Yeah, Professor Kamrul. Professor Stephen asked you a question about
how can public discuss and model? Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we experience actually without demonstration we cannot do it. Demonstration that I appreciate personally, because you are in the forum as a discussion, but you did very well. You are doing well. So I suppose because we have a number of good models in Kumilla model, in rural development, Grameen Bank model. So you need to convince the people. People should come forward and people should know it. And the model, on the basis of that, the people love it and do it by their own. Without the people's spirit, you cannot move forward. So model, whenever model comes to one, model cannot impose by signing a paper. Model cannot be imposing that one. And what you are doing, that is the right way. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kamrul Hassan and Professor Bai. If you want to respond to Professor Wanji's questions about land ownership reform in Korea. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, two discussants commented about my presentation. They question are related each other. As you know, success of public policy is heavily dependent of the acceptance and active participation of residents. So I think in order to success of sustainable development, I think the active citizen participation is very important. Anyway, and one more thing is the government good coordination system is also very important. So combining government coordination system with citizen resident participation can achieve this kinds of can achieve the success of sustainable development. So the Professor Cheo Wan-ho questioned about the land reform. Land reform in Korea was occurred in 1948. But Saemaul Undong started in 1961. What is the the relationship between two events? It seems to me, I already told you, the voluntary participation is very important for Saemaul Undong. In order to motivate, residents, I think they are required to change their own mindset. As you know, before before land reform, many Korean farmers were tenants. They work for someone else's land, and sometimes they felt powerlessness dependent on landlord. However, after the reform, they became a landowner. The ownership of land increased up to 97%. This completely this fact completely changed the the resident or farmers mindset or attitude. They felt proud because land was truly theirs, so they willingly to work hard in order to get money. Okay, so these kinds of things, change their mindset. So they got a lot of responsibility and their motivation. So I think sometimes we forgot, we get to ignore this the fact, but then the reform of reform of land is quite important to understand the Saemaul Undong success in Korea.
Thank you, Professor Bai. I now like to come back to Dr. Stephen, and then I've got a couple of questions for you, Dr. Stephen. First question is, we all talk about sustainable development goals and governance and other issues, success factors. How UND Sustainable Development Goals be integrated in Uganda Saemaul Undong Center, and how you can measure success? I know that you have been involved in various projects, not only in the village areas and also some religions spaces. So I'd like to hear from you about, I know that you're conscious of time, within 4 or 5 minutes, and can you tell us your story about Uganda and how Korean Saemaul Undong centers, that those philosophies been integrated into your model? Thank you.
Thank you so much. SMU was embraced in Uganda in 2009 with 2 model villages of Chitemu and Kateleke. Right now, in Uganda, we have over 500 villages practicing Saemaul Undong through self-help, diligence, and cooperation. So I'm going to answer these questions in just a few minutes. Number 1, how UN SDG targets have been integrated into Uganda SMU. In Uganda, we have 3 categories of projects. Number 1, we have the income increasing projects. We have the environmental and infrastructure projects, and then the mindset change projects. Now, when you talk about SDG 1 of end poverty or no poverty, we have seen so many projects coming up in Uganda being established by villagers themselves without any support from Korea. Because apart from the model villages, we've seen many villages coming up to establish their own village projects in their communities. And in this case, they're getting money income from these projects. This is in line with the SDG 1 of end poverty. And also a lot of projects like farming, animal rearing in different communities are being witnessed. All these projects are in line with the SDG goals or SD goals. When we talk about environment or infrastructure, we find out that in Uganda, some of the communities which had poor road networks, those with, who were sharing water with animals, they were taking dirty water. Today, there's a lot of change in these communities, meaning that the Uganda projects are being integrated with the SDGs. And when we talk about the mindset change, it has changed a lot. It has included everyone. We can see that even the marginalized group of people, the youth, the women, everyone is included in these projects, in the trainings, wherever they're taking place. We have a project called Uganda SMU Mobile School, which was established in 2014. This project was to train mindset in Uganda communities, and it has done a lot to mobilize people, to encourage a partnership. with government departments, and we find that even the government now is partnering with SMU villages, which is in line with the SDGs. So in Uganda, we've seen a lot of changes, and these changes have happened because there was that kind of cooperation and partnership with other departments in the country. Now, in order to, we've also seen another point about, the successful factors. How can the SMU success factors supporting SDG localization in Uganda? Yeah, now SDGs, some Undong success factors are supporting SDG localization in Uganda in this way. Number one, community development. We find that a lot of community development is taking place in Uganda today because SMU's target is to encourage active citizenship and community development through diligence, self-help, and cooperation, which is in line with the SDG principle of inclusivity and participation. So everyone is included. You can see that all the village meetings, all the planning, everything is being done by the villagers themselves. And there's also capacity building among the villagers, whereby leadership is now being encouraged. You find that everyone is included in leadership, even the disabled. There are some communities in Uganda where you find that the leaders are, disabled people. And you find that some communities, even women, are considered to be important in leadership, which wasn't the case before. So we find that the SMU success factors are supporting SDG localization in Uganda today. And even the other point is about, when I talked about partnership, that now some of the villages in Uganda no longer they focus on the external support. They are mobilizing themselves to get funds which can support their communities. In this case, you can find that SMU activities are really in line with the SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stephen. Now we have time for questions. And please, can you please tell your name and the country, and please try to be specific to your question and without making any long statement because we are running out of time. So I'd like to have a few more questions about if you target anyone. So one here.
I have a question. The UN system in local community, they are working in the local community for the big project, they have tender system. And for the small project, they have petty contract system. But this Saemaul is self-stream active public participation system. How can I believe UN will implement the community-based project in the villages?
So you are asking to anyone? Professor Kamrul Hassan? No, Professor Bai? Yes, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I already told you, in order to, for success of, SDG, of, UN's SDG goal, I think, the participation of the community or participation of a resident is quite important. But it is not easy, to induce their, active participation. So some, incentive system might be, might be designed, might be, necessary in order to promote their, active, participation. Okay, so I think, you point out, good point. You point out, excellent point. So I totally agree with your question, but most important thing is community spirit or community participation, and also need the government coordination system is also required, because even though they do not participate actively without appropriate coordination system, maybe their efforts might be they do not make fruit. Okay, so I think community participation and resident participation and government coordination is quite important for success of SDG or this kinds of community development program.
Thank you, Professor Bai. We still have time. Are there any other questions from the audience? We all get exhausted at this table. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for the presenters. My name is Peter Lengapiani from Kenya. And thank you for the presenters. I would like to ask, and I like the way the professor put here that data is very important towards addressing some of the international development agenda. And I know as we are implementing SDG, it's also important to have data of the SMU on how it has transformed people's life, so that when we are reviewing the international development goals, what are those lessons we can pick from SMU that we can now be able to implement, or rather include in the international agenda, whereby every country now can draw from there in terms of implementing the agenda. I found another issue about the traditional reform, about the cultural, social and cultural transformation, and especially ourselves from Africa. We are highly enshrined in terms of traditional practices. I don't know, maybe the approach in terms of changing that strong traditional practices, so that we are able to save, just like how the Koreans, were going away from some traditional practices that they spend a lot and so on. It might require, quite a lot of cultural leaders' involvement, so that they see the importance of eliminating. For example, in Kenya, we have been having challenges of eliminating FGM, which has been a major national issue. But again, it calls upon going down to the grassroots leaders now to change the ways of how the tradition has been doing, so that they can understand that this is a bad practice, and they can leave it. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Kamrul?
So thank you very much. If I rightly pick up your question, the first one is yes, rightly said, and I recall with respect. I repeat, I recall with respect Professor So Jing-Kon when he was the first president of Saemaul President's Center. So he initiated one thing, that means all the regions of SGL member countries, there should be one research hub, for an Asia one, Latin America one, and Africa one, so that data can be generated, because The localizing process is a long process. We carried the spirit of SMU in our chest, and we provide our effort. And you know that a lot of barriers will be there. Our transparency, our corruptions, so many things are there. We are fighting against those things. So it is a long distance to go. So data generation, quality data generation can give a better output. So that, I don't know the present situation right now, but maybe there should be, I support you, there should be some linkages, the program going on, that every hour coming and giving some presentation. So this should be, timeline data should be developed, because it is asset. We are running for a better life, dignified life with the spirit of self-help, diligence and cooperations. So yes, rightly there, that is the point. And second point was cultural barrier and SMU, yeah. Though, yes, we localize that one because we carry the spirit, because we translated, in our case, we translated SMU's values in our own program, in existing program, and it did very well. Because we know the SMU program, we are doing the SMU program through our projects. So the cultural barrier is there, then you have to handle localizing is that one, sometimes discard some +1. But keep in mind that we need to achieve dignified life at the end of the day, from the vicious cycle of the poverty, and dignified life we need to achieve by all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kamal Hassan. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
저도 그 관련해서 질문에 답변을 좀 드리고 싶은데요. 그 동시 통역 좀 부탁드립니다. 여러분들 리시버를 좀 사용해 주시면 좋겠는데요. 그 제가 아까 배 교수님 그 발제문에 대해서 토론할 때도 비슷한 지적을 좀 했었는데, 새마을 운동이 새마을 운동뿐만 아니라 조금 넓은 의미에서 보면은 이제 경제 건설 이런 게 이제 성공하는 데는 여러 가지 조건이 있을 수 있는데, 그 중에 하나가 이제 역사적인 조건, 아까 얘기한 토지 개혁 이런 것도 있고, 또 하나는 지금 플라에서 질문을 주신 전통적인 관습 같은 게 있을 수가 있죠. 동아시아는 어땠을까요? 동아시아는 여러분 다 아시다시피 유교 역량이 굉장히 큽니다. 동아시아 국가라고 하면은 한국, 북한, 일본, 중국, 타이완, 베트남, 이 나라들이 동아시아에서 유교의 역량이 컸습니다. 근데 유교라는 전통적인 사상 혹은 관습이 이 동아시아 국가들에서 어떻게 받아들여졌을까요? 과거에는 동아시아의 모든 국가에서 유교를 근대화되는데, 경제 건설하는데 전통적인 페이스비구에서 굉장히 부정적으로 평가를 했습니다. 공통적으로. 나라마다 조금 차이가 있긴 하지만, 근데 요즘은 어떨까요? 전혀 그렇지 않습니다. 같은 유교의 영향을 과거에는 동아시아 국가들이 대체로 부정적으로 평가했는데 요즘 그렇지 않아요. 중국 가면은 공자학당이라고 하고 공자를 비롯해서 전통적인 사상과 동상을 만들고 전통적인 사상이나 문화를 공부를 굉장히 많이 합니다. 그러니까 전통적인 관습이라는 것은 개별 국가의 다양한 전통, 문화나 관습이나 사상이나 이런 게 있을 겁니다. 그런데 그게 부정적으로 보이기도 하고 또 긍정적으로 보이기도 할 겁니다. 이걸 잘 분별을 해서 부정적인 측면은 우리가 배제를 하고 단절을 해야 되겠지만은 분명히 긍정적인 측면도 있을 겁니다. 그런 거는 잘 내재화하고 우리가 새마을 운동이라든지 경제 건설하는데 좋은 전통으로 얼마든지 활용할 수가 있을 것 같습니다. 이게 동아시아의 과거의 경험이고 평가가 엇갈렸던 그런 부분입니다.
Thank you. And Dr. Stephen, you would like to add? Sure.
Okay. My brother from Kenya, you're my neighbor. I'm from Uganda. I think what we can do is to always emphasize mindset change training in order to overcome the old traditions in our countries, because the challenges we're having everywhere in Africa or any other developing country is mindset change. So if we are to change people's mindset, we need to train the leaders first. If leaders are trained, then leaders can be able to go to the grassroots and help those cultural leaders, and then the cultural leaders can help the village people to transform their communities, so that they can also make sure their governance, their leadership is well. So we need to train leaders in our areas on mindset change, to believe on themselves, and to know how to keep records, documentation is, to be, to have good governance, whereby there's some kind of integrity, keeping records, everything, and also trying to tell them that things are possible and building that can-do spirit in them, that if Korea did it, we can do the same. That's what we are doing in Uganda. We are telling local people in the villages that if Korea did it from once a poor country, we can also do it. So training is very important, especially to leaders who can go down and change the communities. Thank you.
I think we are almost running out of time, so I'd like to wrap up the sessions with a couple of minutes, if I can. What I say, it has been a wonderful session. I would say this session was not a monologue, it's a dialogue. I think, and there are several leaders are here, they represent their countries, and there are several heads of delegates. I think you are the leader. I think it's to change the cultural mindset, you need to have some kind of education and training at the local level. So without giving any training and education, you can't change people's mindset. So that is very important, because United Nations, they always care about 17 SDGs, but this SMU center focuses on fews. I would say no poverty. We don't want to see any poverty in the village level. And if you look at any country, we have got a huge gap between urban areas and rural areas. We want to reduce that to a significant level. And also, I think as one of Jordanian presenters, I was listening him about gender equality in Jordan. Women are very active in every activities. I think that should be the focus. Even if I think about Bangladesh Grameen Bank philosophy, women are more empowered in every activities. They have the resources they can sustain, so that is important for everyone. And also, we talk about SDG 17 partnerships. That partnership is also very important, because partnership is not only between government and NGOs. Partnership should be global. So that is very important. This is why we are here to get support from United Nations, that we need to be global. So SMU becomes a global slogan. It's not about only a few countries. I'm sure, I think in one day we have more than 40 countries adopted this idea, but I would expect that more countries will come forward to adopt this particular area. But localizing the whole idea is very important. Localizing is very tough, because you need to think about local culture, you need to think about religious faith. That's very important. And that is very important for everyone to think about how we can do it, how we can achieve one particular goal, no poverty. I know it's a very ambitious project, but we should minimize the gap between rich and poor. And also, we haven't talked much about Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water. This is very important especially for developing countries, that people are fighting for waters, and people have no resources. I think that should be one of the big projects for any Saemaul Undong Center, how we can provide clean water. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that you have been listening all day, and the one key lesson I would say that, okay, think about how we can achieve our sustainable development goals, and through Saemaul Undong Center's philosophy, that diligence, cooperations, and self-help. And I like to thank the presenters, I like to thank the discussants, and I like to thank our high officials, heads of delegates, and ministers, sub-ministers, and president of the Saemaul Undong centers in Korea, and head of United Nations DESA. And thank you, everyone, and have a good night, and I'll hope to see you again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our moderator and also to our panelists. Professor Hawk has done a great job, I guess. Yes, why don't we give another big round of applause? Thank you. Thank you very much, and please be seated. Yes, thank you. And now we're about to close the sessions. Yes, but we have a closing remarks left for to close down today's session too. Yes, thank you once again. And I guess our panelists and also our moderator did a marvelous job in keeping the time, I guess. Yes, thank you. And it is now time for us to invite Mr. Sung-ho Kim for a closing remarks. Yes, please, I would like to invite you up to the podium right here. Why don't we give a big round of applause?
예, 반갑습니다. 장시간 마지막까지 이렇게 자리를 지켜주신 우리 참석하신 분들께 먼저 감사의 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 이번 유엔 거버넌스 센터와 새마을운동 중앙회의 공동 세미나 성공을 위해 애써주신 두 분의 좌장님, 그리고 네 분의 발표자님, 그리고 또 네 분의 토론자님께 먼저 감사 인사를 드립니다. 오늘 이런 훌륭한 세미나를 제안해 주시고 또 물심양면으로 지원을 아끼지 않으신 우리 유엔 거버넌스 센터 한창섭 원장님께 또 깊은 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 이번 세미나는 거버넌스 관점에서 새마을운동을 평가하고 토론함으로써 새마을 연구와 또 새마을 실천의 새로운 지평을 여는 의미 있는 토론회라고 생각합니다. 한국에서의 새마을운동의 성공 요인을 정확하게 진단하고 평가해서 그 결과를 다른 나라의 이런 국제회의를 통해서 공유하고 전파하는 것이 매우 중요하다고 생각합니다. 그 이유는 잘 아시는 것처럼 그것을 통해 다른 나라들이 새마을운동을 추진할 때 시행착오를 줄이고 시간을 단축해서 성공하게 할 수 있기 때문이라고 생각합니다. 새마을운동의 성공 사례를 공유하고 근면자주협동의 새마을 정신을 강조하는 것도 중요하지만 여기에 더해서 거버넌스 관점에서 주민의 자발적인 참여, 마을 간 경쟁, 정부의 지속적이고 체계적인 지원 등도 아무리 강조해도 지나치지 않을 것입니다. 오늘 세미나에서 나온 논의는 단지 학술적인 지식 공유를 넘어서 전 세계의 새마을운동을 함께하는 나라들에게 나아가야 할 방향을 제시하고 새로운 가능성을 열어주는 소중한 밑거름이 될 것으로 확신합니다. 다시 한번 오늘 함께 하신 모든 분들께 감사드리며 앞으로의 여정에도 또 행운이 함께 하시길 기원합니다. 고맙습니다.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sung-ho Kim, for a thoughtful closing remarks. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I know it has been a very long day, but still, thank you for your enthusiastic participation. And I was glad to see a lot of questions coming out as well. Thank you once again. And on behalf of the organizers, we extend our deepest appreciation to all the moderators, speakers, and also to our participants as well. Thank you. And we hope today's exchanges have provided a meaningful insights and strengthened our shared commitments towards advancing the sustainable community development through the principles of effective governance and the spirit of
Saemaul Undong as well, of course. I wish you a continued success and have a great day. Thank you very much. Thank you.